Good morning, children. This is Unit 16, Applied Chemistry, Part 3. So, as soon as possible, we will finish this session so that chemistry part will get over. Okay, so in the previous session, we discussed about the dye chemistry. Okay, types and varieties, and based on the structure, how the dyes are classified and its characteristics, everything we discussed in the previous session. Now, we will see how chemistry is involved in agriculture and food. Okay, so agricultural and food chemistry. So first we will see what is agricultural chemistry. So agricultural chemistry involves the application of chemical and biochemical knowledge to agricultural production, processing of raw materials into foods and beverages, and environmental monitoring and remediation. It deals with scientific relation between plants, animals, bacteria and environment. Okay, so in whichever part wherever we involve this agricultural chemistry, it is nothing but a biochemical knowledge to agricultural production, so foods and beverages. Okay, and also maintaining the environmental monitoring and remediation. This is called as agricultural chemistry. So what are the goals of agricultural chemistry? For what purpose we are using this chemistry in the field of agriculture? Let me see. The Indian chemist and biochemist applied their knowledge and developed modernized agricultural practices which involve use of synthetic fertilizers, genetically modified crops and equipments. Okay, so this is the goal. It aims of producing sufficient nutrients, food, and feed the population sustainable way while being responsible stewards of our environment and ecosystem. So based on the issues and challenges in agricultural production, agricultural chemistry mainly focuses to achieve the following. So what are the achievements? What are they focusing to achieve is increase in crop yield and livestock, to increase the crop yield and livestock. Livestock means chicken, goats, etc. Okay, cows. Then improvement of food quality, reducing cost of food production. So these are the three important thing which the applied chemistry like to. These are the goals which they want to achieve. They mainly focus on these three things, that is increasing the crop yield and livestock, improvement of food quality, and reducing cost of food production. Okay, so applications of agricultural chemistry. So what are the applications that is involved in the agricultural chemistry? It is nothing but soil testing, okay, then chemical fertilizers, then pesticides and insecticides. They concentrate only in these three important thing which involve the increase of the food production. Okay, so first is soil testing. So crop lands may have different kinds of soil with varying pH. Soil pH means what? Concentration of the hydrogen level. Okay, power of the hydrogen, checking the power of the hydrogen. So soil pH is one of the main criteria, that is they check the nitrogen content in the soil. The nitrogen content is the amount of nitrogen in the soil is okay, then the crop will be in a better growth, the crop yield will be better. Okay, so they check the soil properly, that is the pH of the soil. The selection of crop of remediation of the soil. So after checking the soil content, they will segregate the crops, which are the crops that has to be planted in the soil, which types will give a good yield of the crop in the type of particular soil. Okay, they segregate each and every crops according to the soil content. So soil testing involves determination of pH, porosity and texture. So what are the things that is involved in the soil testing? pH, then porosity and texture. Then chemical fertilizers. Fertilizers are chemical compounds added to crop field for supplying essential micro and macro nutrients. So ammonium nitrate. So what are the things that is used here? Ammonium nitrate, then calcium phosphate, urea, NPK. NPK means nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium. Formula for potassium is K. Okay, so that is why it is called as NPK. Are some of the fertilizers, and depending on the nature of the soil, these fertilizers are used singly or as mixture. Single also, in single, that is in nitrogen separately, phosphorus separately and potassium separately, you can use it as fertilizers, or else NPK all together, mixed together, you can use these things as a fertilizer. organic fertilizers as well as chemical fertilizers. Okay, so these are the prescribed chemical fertilizers. So what are the prescribed chemical fertilizers? Ammonium nitrate, calcium phosphate, urea and NPK. Okay, so what are the prescribed chemical fertilizers? Ammonium nitrate, calcium phosphate, urea, NPK. Okay, so depending on the nature of the soil, these 4 chemical fertilizers are prescribed to the farmers. Then pesticides and insecticides. So what are the things that has to be given, sprayed on the plants? Pesticides and insecticides. What are the things that has to be sprayed? The crops are prone to diseases caused by pests and insects. The chemically synthesized pesticides and insecticides are used to solve these issues. And chlorinated hydrocarbons, then organophosphates, carbamates are used as pesticides and insecticides. So what are the chemicals that is used as pesticides and insecticides? Chlorinated hydrocarbons, organophosphates, then carbamates. These are the chemicals that is used as pesticides and insecticides. So this is about agricultural chemistry. What is food chemistry? So food is one of the basic needs for human animals. Without food we cannot survive, even animals. So the food we eat also are made of chemicals, right? So any human might require the following 3 kinds of foods. So what are they? Body building foods, energy giving foods and protective foods. So this is how we classify the foods. Okay, so when the classified foods forms that we daily intake are body building foods, energy giving foods and protective foods. So what is body building foods? These are required for physical growth. Okay, so physical growth of the body. So proteins, intake of protein is very, very important to build our body. Then energy giving foods, the food which give us energy to maintain our energy for the whole day. Okay, which provides energy for the whole day. So these are the foods that supply energy for the functioning of parts of human body, and example is carbohydrates. So when we intake carbohydrates in a larger amount, we gain energy. Okay. Then protective foods. These protect us from deficiency diseases, and examples vitamins and minerals. So when we intake vitamins and minerals, we can avoid affected by the microorganisms. So every human requires all these 3 kind of foods in right proportion for the smooth functioning of the body. The diet that contain all these 3 foods in the right proportion is called balanced food. So what is called as balanced food? When body building foods, that is proteins, then energy giving foods, carbohydrates, then protective foods, minerals and vitamins. We intake these 3 in balanced food item, then it is called as balanced diet. The diet that contain all the 3 foods in the right proportion is called as balanced diet. Okay, so food chemistry is the chemistry of foods which involve the analysis, processing, packaging and utilization of materials, including bioenergy for food safety and quality. Okay, so now we will see what are the goals for the food chemistry. The main goal for the food chemistry is to cater the needs of quality food to the population in a sustainable way, to give quality of food for all form of population. Okay, so that is proteins, fats, starches and carbohydrates, which the food has to contain all the properties of proteins, fats, starches and carbohydrates, as well as micro components, okay, additives and flavorants to determine how much work is in a food system. Okay, and also it should be contain the ingredients or new ingredients altogether, such as fat or sugar replacements. Is that clear? Then we will see what is involved in chemicals in food. So food we eat in our day-to-day life contains natural or synthetic chemicals. They serve different functions in the human body. So what are the nutrients? They are the most essential chemicals present in food. They are required for the growth, physiological and metabolic activities of the body. So there are natural or synthetic, example carbohydrates, proteins, vitamins and minerals. Okay, so these are called as nutrients. The most essential chemicals present in the food which are required for the growth, physiological, metabolic activities. So what are they? Nutrients means carbohydrates, proteins, vitamins and minerals. Okay, so this is about food chemistry. Then we will see forensic chemistry. So what is forensic? Have you heard about the word forensic? Yes, it is a science that studies about crime. Okay, crime detection. That is called as forensic chemistry. So which applies scientific principles, techniques and methods to the investigation of crime. The daily newspaper is carrying a lot of news on incidents of criminal activities such as robbery, murder, sexual harassment, etc. Okay, so how the crime department investigate and analyze it? Fingerprint, they take from fingerprints. Okay, have you seen in the TV serials or in the pictures you would have seen, they spray a powder, then they place a tape over that powder and they take it off the tape. Okay, so in the tape they will get the fingerprint, and using the system they'll try to match the fingerprint with the original fingerprint. When it is matched, they will find out the murderer. So this is how this chemistry is also used in forensic science. So in real life, the collection and analysis of evidence involving painstaking care and rigorous applications of scientific principles. Okay, so see, this is the picture for crime detection. So crime scene do not occur. So medical test, DNA test, everything, blood test, everything will come falls under this forensic chemistry. So forensic chemist in criminal investigations. What are the topics that we are going to see now? Forensic chemist in criminal investigation. In general, forensic chemists work in 4 steps. Okay, so what are the steps? Collection of evidences. First you have to collect the evidence. Okay, so what are the evidence that the thief or the murderer have left out in the murdered place? So they collect physical evidences such as knife, instruments, materials, etc. in a systematic way and uncover their information using chemistry. Then analysis of evidences. So how do they analyze it? In criminal cases, chemists analyze substances such as blood and DNA. Blood and DNA to attempt to determine when, by whom the crime was committed. So these are the important tests, blood and the DNA test. Then collaboration. To solve the crime, they discuss with other fellow investigators like police officers, detective and other forensic scientists. Okay, they arrange a meeting, they discuss, they collect them, they exchange their forensic reports. Okay, then they will try to match everything, and they pinpoint out who the murderer will be. And report of findings. Finally, they prepare a report of conclusion of the analysis. Okay, so these are the methods. Okay, criminal investigation. These are the methods to be followed for the criminal investigation. Then what are the methods of forensic chemistry? What do the methods they follow in forensic chemistry? The word for forensic chemistry, focusing on the theory and process of chemistry in forensic analysis, shows the role that chemistry plays in criminal investigation. So following are some methods used in the crime investigation. So what are the first is fingerprint. Okay, this is what I said. So fingerprint is one of the most important evidences in crime investigation. Then fingerprints on smooth surfaces can often be made visible by application of light or dark powder, but fingerprints on check or other documents are often occult, that is hidden. Occult means hidden. Occult fingerprints, that is hidden fingerprints, are sometimes made visible by the use of ninhydrin. Ninhydrin, which turns purple due to reaction with amino acids present in perspiration. So fingerprints or other marks are also sometimes made visible by exposure of high powered laser light. Okay, so first one is ninhydrin is used. The hidden fingerprints, to make it visible, ninhydrin is used. And which turns purple due to reaction with amino acids. Okay, then the other one is high powered laser light. Cyanoacrylate ester fumes from glue are used with fluorescent dyes to make the fingerprints visible. Is that clear? So now we will see some food additives. What are the food additives? Function of the additive, types of additive, then function of the additive and the examples. So what are they? So first is preservatives. They protect food from spoilage by microorganisms in storage. And the example are vinegar, sodium benzoate, benzoic acid, sodium nitrate. Colorants. They give pleasant odors, colors to food. Okay, that is red, orange, green, and the sweets and all, you have different colors, right? Kesari powder and all. So the examples are carotenoids, anthocyanin and curcumin. Artificial sweeteners. They add sweet taste to food, that is saccharin and cyclamate. And flavor enhancers. They are used to enhance the flavor of the food item, that is monosodium glutamate and calcium diglutamate. Then antioxidants. They prevent the oxidation of the food. They protect us against cardiovascular diseases. Vitamin C, vitamin E, carotene. Okay, these are the types of additive and the functions and the examples. This is also an important tabular column in exam point of view. So now we will see, so we discussed about fingerprints, right? So this is how they take the fingerprint. You can see the picture. They spray the powder, dust it, and then they take the fingerprint, make the occult, that is the hidden fingerprint visible, and then they radiate it. So now we will see the biometrics, how chemicals are used in the biometrics. The science that deals with the study of analysis of human body print is known as biometrics. So now we have biometric system. Instead of signing in the attendance, we have biometric system, isn't it? Fingerprint. We can give our fingerprint, or some of them uses their face as opener, or only the eyes, or their voice, right? So you have different type of biometrics now. So the biometric system compares the body prints to the specimen data stored in the system to verify the identify of a person. Okay, so many, some use fingerprint in schools and industries, and all we use fingerprints, and in many higher official systems and all, they use their face as their biometric, or eyes, specifically their voice and all, so that other cannot open. Okay, so the other person cannot open the official files or the official room where the official files are protected. So then next is alcohol test. So drinkers can be easily identified by the use of applied chemistry. So what are the solution that is used here? The person being tested blows through a tube which bubbles and breathes through a solution of chemicals containing sulfuric acid. So which acid is used? Sulfuric acid, potassium dichromate, water and silver nitrate. So oxidation of the alcohol results in the reduction of dichromate to chromic ion with a corresponding change in color from orange to green. So an electrical device employing a photocell compares the color of the test solution with the standard solution, giving a quantitative determination of the alcohol content when the color changes. Okay, the photocell compares and gives the correct indication whether the driver has drunken or not. So the test provides a quick and a reproducible determination of the amount of alcohol in the person's breath, and is a numerical measure of the amount of alcohol in the blood stream. Okay, so the photocell will give the color indication, as well as it will give the reading how much alcohol is present in the body, in the blood. Okay, so next, applications of applied chemistry. So this is also an important question in exam point of view. So many of the advantages of the applied chemistry are around us. It is inevitable. Applied chemistry has given us numerous synthetic materials to lead our day-to-day life, and the applied chemistry makes a most important contribution to our society and makes a major contribution to the country's economic development and plays a vital role worldwide. And the products of applied chemistry are so widespread that they are used in our daily life. So these are the applications of the applied chemistry, and by then the lesson gets over. Now we will discuss the textbook exercises as soon as possible. We will see the textbook exercises. First is choose the correct answer. 1 nanometer is, you know the answer very well, 1 nanometer is 10 power minus 9 meter. The antibiotic penicillin is obtained from microorganism. 1% solution of iodoform is used as 1% of solution of iodoform is used as antiseptic. Okay, it is used as antiseptic. 1% iodoform is used as antiseptic. The cathode of an electrochemical reaction involves dash: oxidation, reduction, neutralization, catenation. Cathode of an electrochemical reaction involves reduction. Okay, cathode involves reduction, anode involves oxidation. Then fifth one, age of dead animal can be determined by using an isotope of carbon, C14. Okay, carbon. Which of the following does not contain natural dyes? Potato. Very good. This type of food protects us from deficiency diseases. Carbohydrates, vitamins, proteins, fats. Which is the type of food protects us from deficiency diseases? Vitamins. Radiochemistry deals with oxidants, batteries, isotopes, nanoparticles. Radiochemistry deals with isotopes. Radiochemistry deals with isotopes. The groups responsible for the color of an organic compound is called chromophore. It is called chromophore. Okay, chlorinated hydrocarbons are used as pesticides. Then PDF will be uploaded, children. Don't worry if you didn't mark or listen properly. Just listen. You have to listen. Fill in the blanks. Dash is an electrochemical cell which converts electrical energy into chemical energy. Electrolytic cell. Okay, electrolytic cell. Painkiller drugs are called. Painkiller drugs, not anesthesia. Painkiller drugs are called analgesics. Analgesics. Then third one, indigo is a dash dye. Indigo is a vat dye. Okay, vat dye. Vat. 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 Dash, dash and dash are macronutrients required for plant growth. What are the three answers? Nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium. Okay, nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium are the macronutrients required for plant growth. Fifth one, dash is a chemical used in fingerprint analysis. Which chemical is used? Ninhydrine. Okay, ninhydrine. Match the following. Try to tell the answer. Antipyretics, corrosion prevention, hyperthyroidism, nanoparticle, proteins. Large surface area, iodine, fever, bodybuilding, electroplating. So antipyretics, what is the answer? Antipyretic given to reduce fever. So this is the answer, fever. First one. Corrosion prevention. Corrosion prevention, electroplating. Hyperthyroidism, which is used to detect hyperthyroidism. Iodine 131. Okay. Nanoparticles, large surface area. Proteins are used to build our body. Okay, body building. So 4, 3, 1, 5 and 2. This is the answer. So in classwork, you can write, wait, we will see what are the questions given here first. So brief answer, what is radiocarbon dating, what are called anesthetics, how are they classified, what is the need for chemical fertilizers in crop fields, what is forensic chemistry related to. So in brief answer, I want you all to write second and fourth question, because this is the important question. Second and fourth question. Then detail answer, only 2 you have. Explain the type of dyes based on their method and various food additives and their functions. Both are important question, but I ask you to write first question in the classwork. Okay. First question, detail first question in the classwork, and brief answer second and fourth, and detail first question. Higher order thinking skills. Higher order thinking skills, all 3 questions are important. But no need to write that in the classwork. But for the exam, you have to read all the 3 questions. Higher order thinking. You don't have any problems here. Okay. So luckily you don't have any problems. So this is totally a theoretical lesson. Theoretical lesson. And no need to mug up and all. Just to have a glance of the full lesson, you will get the important points. Okay. Okay, children. Thank you for listening. Have a good day.